Alright. Testing. Alright, here we go. We got microphone. Looks like something different. I'm not sure if this will ever make it to YouTube. But I never am, right? But, in my prayer closet, okay? That's kind of where I'm bringing the microphone. So, just see how it works. I got the notion a while ago, because I think a lot about it. Why is he so ambiguous to us? And I say he, if I need to explain, which I might, because it's not gender really, but it's placement, and the way we understand it through Adam and Eve is Adam was first. He represented the male, and I think that's why the distinction, so that we can understand him. Papa, father, that's another male type identity that we have for him, or I have for him. So, in all fairness, if when he was his own, just the original singularity, the original sentient, the original being, if you will, he is being. The Hebrew for the I am is I am what I am becoming, and that's his name. So that's why he doesn't have any name you can really nail down, I think, But how, in all fairness, is he going to? If it's example of life on Earth. If you boil down to this base element, what is something that's common with all life on Earth? It all wants to reproduce. That's it. It wants to make more life. So I'm going to say that that's really, really deeply ingrained in his character. So if that desire that causes all living things to want to reproduce, is at his base also, and I think it's obvious. I mean, when you look at the creation, all living things, it's obvious. Somebody, whoever designed this, had replication, some way to reproduce is built into all of it. So I think it's on his mind, all right? And then that's at the start of the book, right? You go to the end, the last chapter, at the end of the book, everybody holds this such a authoritative book. The Bible. Anyway, it ends up in a wedding. And I can't read it any other way. We're his bride. We are the bride. It's called the bride of Christ, but the bride of his rescue, yes. I think we rescue, our rescue comes from seeing him, who he is, and then falling deeply in love with him. Him, it, whatever, It's hard. He's hard to explain, I guess, but his intent is easily seen on this planet. I see it in his initial creation of heaven. I mean, we see Adam being not a rib taken from Adam. If you want that, that's fine, but that's not what it really says there. It actually says Adam was torn asunder, ripped in half. Almost killed him. He was already in a deep sleep coma. I mean, it must have, it's pretty radical. And maybe heaven was a rib, I don't know, but I think he tore himself in half, which is the first way you see in on Earth. The most basic life forms actually just split. So you've got this split, and if the desire to split, to tear yourself in half, and like Eve, I believe that the half of him that we are, if you will, has no recollection of being the other half, being with the other half. He has made it so that we not only have free will, but we also have an environment that we don't feel manipulated. And that wasn't the case in heaven. Whatever populates heaven has no free will. The only time you see free will being exercised there, that thing ends up being cast out. And it seems like whatever part of him he put in heaven, he wasn't satisfied with. It's not a bride. These creatures just want to tell him how great he is all day long, which he's great. Okay, yes, indeed. Wouldn't that get old? I mean, we call it a yes man in my society. Someone who never dissents and never disagrees with it's just always yes, 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 whatever you say. Oh, you're wonderful. You must be right. That's not a suitable mate. So it's my contention that the whole reason that went on with creation, part B, if you will, or the upgrade of Earth, where he has allowed us to exist without knowing where we came from. Not allowed us. He's made it possible for himself to exist in us without us knowing it, or without him knowing it, if you will. I don't know. Jesus tapped into it. The Holy Spirit taps us back in. Yet we're still separate. We can realize our free will unless we get up on a religion that restricts us again back to demanding us to love him. Anyway, this is it. Like I said, I don't know. The kind of stuff I think about. Try to understand. What we understand is a loneliness that came from him. And I've been kicked out of congregations before by just mentioning that maybe he was lonely. I don't know, why is that so? Anyway, it upset that particular congregation. And I was probably ejected or getting left with fellowship or whatever, or asked not to come back. Because the God they serve is a very jealous God, and he wants you to think he is perfect and there is no flaw in him at all. Almighty, omniscient. And he demands worship. And I think it's because their God comes from the first creation. And where he comes from, yeah. Oh, yeah. You bear a total line and you end up getting ejected, right? You end up getting put out of his presence. That's rough. Our Papa is their master. And they are programmed, they don't have free will. They're not us. Yet there's a strong indication that the head honcho there of that creation ended up here in what we think is as a snake's body, tricking poor little Eve into making her think that he knows more than she does. He didn't know anything about being human. I'm sure he's baffled by the whole thing when he sees his master living in us. Yet, like, maybe we look like we're just whacked out of it. I mean, he judges us by our flesh, right? So anyway, I don't know. I want to put up. Maybe this will be the video, but YouTube just started offering polling, so I might play with that a little bit on here, because I get in a conversation it's all one-sided. You can't answer me. And the comments is the only way to get. It's an awful way to communicate. So maybe the poll will help. I get to do this live like I want to, walk and talk. This is right now it's fall, so this is one of my busiest times of the year, collecting leaves, covering the earth like it was meant to be covered. His instruction is good. He was trying to keep us alive and healthy. When he asked us, when he said, "Be fruitful and multiply," which is, again, there you go. Very first thing he wants to talk about is multiplying life on this creation. I think he wanted to show us how it works. And when we see how it works, we can't help but love him. Really. Seriously. And the God of this world wants to keep us away from all that. Destroy it. Destroy what he's done here. Or keep us from improving it. Anyway, like I said, you can't answer me back very easily. There's a couple of you still listening. Mar, I know you're out there probably. I don't know how you've hung on this long, but hey, I'll keep on keeping on. So, here's another hard part. Know when to end these things, because I probably could go on and on. I think I could podcast for like 24/7. I don't know if I ever learn how to do that, right? But right now, here we got this, and maybe I'll ask the question, which some kind of question for a poll someday. I'd like to do one about what would Jesus do back in the 80s. You could go to any church in the United States, I think, and you'd see these wristbands, these rubber wristbands they had. What was it? What would Jesus do? So it was WWJD. I always wondered why we don't have started as what did Jesus do, because pretty much a lot of it was written down, so we don't have to ask what would he do. We can see what he did. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here. Peace. Later.